Tottenham saved their season in Bilbao, defeated Manchester United 1-0 in the Europa League final to claim their first trophy in 17 years. Spurs legend Gareth Bale joked after the match that the term Spursy, once used to describe the club's habit of being close to victory and still losing, might now become Unitedy after this night. This is how the world of football changes right before our eyes. Today we talk about the 2025 Europa League final. Even if it was indeed a match between the 16th and 17th teams of the Premier League this season. Before the match, both teams' form in the league perfectly reflected their seasons. Neither Tottenham nor Manchester United had scored in their last two Premier League games. Their most recent goals came back in the Europa League semi-finals. Their minds had clearly been in San Mamés for a while now, waiting for the final. This tournament became a lifeline for both Ruben Amorim and Ange Postecoglou, a beacon in the gloomy ocean of Premier League results. United were unbeaten in Europe all season, while Spurs also found solace in continental competition. Amorim didn't seem overly confident before the game. He repeatedly emphasized that a win in Bilbao would not save the season. Those words should have alarmed Manchester United fans, as for a brand still considered the biggest club in England. Qualifying or not qualifying for the Champions League has a huge impact on squad building and finances, something the new owner Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos are notoriously struggling with. Winning the Europa League and securing a Champions League spot should have been a massive motivation for everyone. Meanwhile, Postecoglou had the opportunity to win Tottenham's first trophy since the 2008 League Cup. For him, it was all or nothing. Become a hero who brought silverware back to White Hart Lane, or go down as the man who oversaw one of the club's worst seasons in recent years. Before the final, United had already lost 3 times to Spurs this season, considered first in every one of those matches. Bilbao was no exception, and once again, that proved fatal. In a way, the Europa League final on Wednesday turned out to be quite predictable. Ruben Amorim lined up in his usual 3-4-3 formation, notable for the returns of Lenny Yoro and Luke Shaw to the starting 11, and his decision to start Mason Mount over Alejandro Garnacho, which later sparked public controversy. Postecoglou, on the other hand, stuck with a system now considered his European approach. Much has been said over the last 2 seasons about his Australian football philosophy known as Ball, but in Europe this year, he acted with much more pragmatism and adapted his tactical model significantly. "I've always believed that cup football is different from league matches," said the winning manager after the game. "In these conditions, it all comes down to structure, belief, a clear idea, and key moments. And if you can minimize those moments for your opponent with a solid foundation, then you gain an edge." Then came the crucial words. "I always believed that if we scored first, we'd be able to neutralize most of what Manchester United would try to throw at us." Now look at Spurs' stats after Postecoglou's plan to score first was executed. It felt like Mourinho ball at Camp Nou in 2010. Spurs struck first at San Mamés. A Pape-Sarr cross was converted by Brennan Johnson, albeit with some help from Luke Shaw, but the ball found the net. It was Tottenham's first goal in a final in their last 5 cup appearances. It was Johnson's 5th Europa League goal and 17th of the season, more than any other Spurs player. The flow of the match raised questions about the fairness of the outcome. The North London side didn't create a single chance before the break, while United had 5. But as often happened this season, the Red Devils couldn't capitalize. Across all competitions this season, United conceded first in 31 matches, more than any other Premier League side. In the second half, the nominal away team pinned Spurs in their half. Amorim's side had 80% possession and hardly allowed any counterattacks. United came closest to scoring when Rasmus Højlund headed toward an empty goal, only for Mickey van de Ven to bicycle kick it off the line. Undoubtedly one of the season's most crucial defensive moments. In the final minutes, United threatened again. They pushed and pushed. Luke Shaw had a golden opportunity in stoppage time. Vicario, who made 5 saves, paired it again. And finally, as Spurs fans around the world chewed their nails to the bone, the final whistle blew. Then came a sea of tears of joy, and it was a glorious sight. Manchester United were arguably the better or at least more attacking side, but Postecoglou's confidence proved justified. His plan worked, like Swiss clockwork: score, sit back, and defend. Against one of the weakest United squads in modern history, the plan had every chance of success. Amorim hardly changed his setup since joining United. You could call it belief or stubbornness, but the team was largely ineffective in attack. Despite having 72.3% possession in Bilbao, their 16 shots amounted to just 0.97 expected goals. It seemed Amorim was once again relying on Bruno Fernandes to pull something out of thin air, or hoping the team would suddenly click. But even their average player positions revealed a dysfunctional system. Just look at Mount's role and the lack of use of the left wing. By contrast, Postecoglou adapted Spurs for knockout-style cup football, and ultimately his side triumphed. Despite only 27.7% possession and just 115 accurate passes, the lowest by any side in a major European final since at least 2009-2010. Spurs knew United lacked the strength or creativity to break them down, and that was the key difference in Bilbao. Amorim was criticized for starting Mason Mount, especially against the Tottenham side that begins games with a high defensive line. Garnacho would have been far more effective with his pace and stamina. Instead, Mount was on the pitch when Spurs left spaces, and Garnacho only came on once Postecoglou had already parked the bus. Throughout the match, Amorim was criticized for his hesitation with substitutions. It was obvious the team lacked fresh attacking ideas. It wasn't until the 71st minute that Garnacho and Spursy replaced Mount and Højlund. Garnacho injected some directness and made Pedro Porro work harder, while Spursy movement and one-touch passing added uncertainty between the previously solid Ramiro and Van de Ven. Playing as a false nine, he improved ball circulation in Tottenham's half. After the match, Garnacho openly questioned Amorim's decisions. "I played in every round before the final and only got 20 minutes today. I don't know, I'll try to enjoy my summer and see what happens next." Captain Bruno Fernandes also gave a cryptic post-match comment. "I'll stay here as long as the club wants me. If they think it's time to go because they want to cash in, then that's football." By the way, Saudi club Al Hilal is reportedly ready to trigger his release clause. Overall, it was a poor game from United's leader, which contributed to the loss. In this United squad, almost everything still depends on Bruno's quality. Fernandes played in central midfield, not his usual number 10 role, and his performance fell far below his usual standards. He completed just 37 of 54 passes, and his 68.5% accuracy was his third worst this season, explained Opta. And it was from one of Bruno's misplaced passes that Spurs launched their match-winning goal. Once again, United's average player positions show how Spurs managed to keep Fernandes far from the penalty area, where he's among the most dangerous players in the world. And then there was Rasmus Højlund's glaring failure. This was likely his last season at Old Trafford. Expected to be a key figure in United's attack, he was largely invisible. Romero and Van de Ven handled him with ease. He won only 1 of 5 aerial duels and 4 of 10 overall. In 70 minutes, he completed just 5 passes, one of which came from kickoff. United paid Atalanta €77.8 million for him in 2023 and got only 10 goals in 51 matches of this season. It's probably time to head back to Serie A. Inter Milan Champions League finalists remain interested. Amorim often claims that his team lacks finishing, that XG shows they're usually better than the opponent, but there's a reason for that. United only began creating real chances after conceding. On Wednesday, they had just 3 shots in the first 41 minutes before Johnson's goal. In the next 59 minutes, they had 13. They need to start games with intensity, not wait for a wake-up call from the opposition. The Portuguese coach will likely get a bit more time at Old Trafford, but if next season starts poorly, expect another 6-figure compensation payout to a brave man who dreamed of being the next Sir Alex at the Theatre of Dreams. This victory guarantees Tottenham a place in next season's Champions League, while United are left reflecting on their worst campaign since their last relegation in the early 1970s. Back in September, Postecoglou promised he would always win a trophy in his second season.
I don't usually win things, I always win things in my second year. Nothing's changed.
And he kept his word in his 100th match as Spurs boss. A fairy tale, right? 3 shots on target, the lowest for any Europa League winner in the Opta era. 27.7% possession, also a record low. A strange champion, but considering all of Tottenham's baggage, couldn't have ended any other way. Defending is also football. That was the motto that won this historic final for a club tired of being a meme. The 40-year, 363-day drought without a European trophy is over. Congrats to all Spurs fans, you deserve this. Vicario revealed how Postecoglou inspired them to end the 17-year trophy drought. He told us from the beginning, even last season, that this team would change something, change the history of this football club, and we did. This is all thanks to him. He was the first to believe in something special, and we achieved it. It's incredible. And here are the words of match winner Brennan Johnson. I couldn't even watch the last 5 minutes. I sat with my back to the pit just asking, how much longer? When I turned around for the last time and heard the final whistle, it was pure relief. From the first day I arrived, people kept saying, Tottenham are a good club, but they never finished the job. And now we did it. Max Rushden, a Guardian journalist and longtime Spurs fan, summed up Tottenham's Europa League triumph perfectly. This is better than any football analytics. There's no objectivity, we're all mosaics of our own biases, but my genuine joy for Ange Postecoglou is nearly as great as for the club. And he did it in the least Ange way possible. Maybe if Tottenham had defended like this more often, his job wouldn't have been at risk. From high lines, risky build-up and fullbacks out of position, to stubborn, clever, controlled pass parking in the final and away games in Bodo and Frankfurt. All of it, said Ange afterward, was part of the plan. It was really satisfying to see Vicario just boot the ball long and some playing left back. Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho would have been proud. The final whistle. Tears from Son Heung-min, who could have left long ago but stayed loyal to his dream of winning a trophy with Spurs. A club he loves as much as Harry Kane. And speaking of Kane, his post congratulating the team drew more than 600,000 likes at the time of writing the script. Let's not forget what made this season so special. The end of trophy droughts everywhere. Clubs and players like Harry Kane breaking curses and looking to the future with optimism. It's the same joy you feel watching Crystal Palace fans after winning their first ever trophy, beating Pep Guardiola's Manchester City in the FA Cup. And as the final whistle echoed through San Mamés, there was one beautiful final truth. And every Spurs fan on that magical night in Bilbao could say, it has been 0 days since Tottenham last won a trophy. Are moments like that worth living for?